Right. Oyeyemi Ajayi, thank you. And indeed, our guests are all ready for us to begin our conversation. And on a lighter note, just before we came on air, I did describe all of them really as founding members of Good Morning Nigeria. They've been with us right from day one, and today, as we end 2024, they are also here. So I'm proud to welcome to Good Morning Nigeria Professor Abiodun Adeniyi, who's Dean School of Postgraduate Studies, based University here in Abuja. Thank you very much for joining us on this last day of 2024. Yes, and also here with us is in his, of course, I don't know how to describe his heart. It's the Niger Delta heart. Public affairs analyst. He's also here with us today. Good to have you with us.
It's a pleasure.
That's the oil heart.
Yeah, well, we are one Nigeria.
All right. Also joining us for the conversation, but via Zoom, all the way from Saudi Arabia, is Kabir Mato, Professor of Political Science. Professor Mato, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Nigeria.
All right. Also with us for the conversation, but joining us from Benin is Dr. Osawa Okonzua, a public affairs analyst. Many thanks for joining us, Doctor.
Yeah.
Right. Gentlemen, thank you very, very much, and compliments of the season. And we're looking at major political events that shaped the year 2024. As we all know, election, they say, of course, is a very integral part of our democracy. In fact, it is the pivot around which democracy revolves. But over the years, both the elections and the electoral process, have been, devoid of fundamental democratic principles, if you ask me. I mean, over and over, we've had calls to, pinpoint areas, within our system, that needs to be, rejigged or amended or, reversed. So I would like to start by, outlining some of those major political events from your perspective, Professor Adeniyi, that shaped 2024.
Okay, thank you very much. But if my memory serves me right, today is my birthday.
Yeah.
And of course, being the last day of the year,
and you're on Good Morning Nigeria.
Yeah, on Good Morning Nigeria. So
we must celebrate.
It's a good time for me to look back and make projections forward, not just at the personal level, but also at
congratulations,
the
by the way,
very much, and economic levels, as the case could be. 2024 is an interesting year, but nothing extraordinary, because when we're talking about periodization, we're only comfortable with the Gregorian calendar. There are other calendars, that other religions, other sections of the world also use, but of course, we are comfortable with the Gregorian, and of course, whatever happens transpires within that box. We like to be critical about it so that we can make rightful projections into the future. I agree, there have been some occurrences. We had 2 state elections. We had a cabinet shake-up, and of course, 2025 is also another year, another box through which we are highly expectant, because it's going to be the last year of active governance, before we move into an election in 2027, as the case could be. But again, we need to understand that when we're talking about reviews like this, some things are actually predictable and some are actually not unpredictable. The predictable ones are actually the ones that are on the INEC agenda, the elections.
The reruns and the
absolutely the obstacle election. In 2025, we're expecting the Anambra election as well. But the story has never really changed about the things that we want to have improved upon in our electioneering process. It's just been a cycle of repeated violence, monetization, transactional politics, having money and more money, controversy around judiciary, tribunalization of electoral processes, the inability of politicians or contestants to be magnanimous in victory and to be gallant in defeat, So the problem around the electoral process still remains largely attitudinal. And that's why INEC is trying every year to ramp up technology. I remember I had a chairman the other day even thinking about some other kind of modification. Now we can continue these modifications, to technology, trying to make sure that human elements, human involvement in the process is minimized, so that they cannot be able to affect it. We can continue to do these things forever, but if the attitudinal element, is not, if attention is not paid to it, we'll probably continue to run in circles. And every time too we talk about mobilization, political education before election, INEC does this very well. Huge budgets are often allocated for it. We know. We also expect political parties to do it. To some extent, they do it if it's going to favor them. But then all these things happen pre-election. But in the period of election, we'll still see a manifestation of the east that we've been talking about. So it looks as if, it's all moving